Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise today to ask for my colleagues' support for this amendment, number 142, which would protect students' access to programs that prepare them for the workforce for a great career. Specifically, this amendment would prohibit the Department of Education from implementing, administering, or enforcing one narrow provision of their newly finalized rule on financial responsibility regulations, which unfairly limits federal financial aid from being accessed by clock hour programs. What are clock hour programs? Career-oriented programs in some community colleges use clock hours to measure a student's progress rather than the credit-based system that traditional colleges use. Each state establishes their own licensure requirements and minimum number of clock hours for programs like cosmetology, massage therapy, barbering, nursing, health trucking, and others before students can apply for their state license. Many programs at facilities, at schools that offer these programs, go beyond the state's minimum number of clock hours. And there's a number of good reasons for that. They may allow students more time to practice the trade, to increase their speed or income when they get to the job, or it may be necessary to have more hours of instruction time because of new techniques and practices in instruction, and again to ensure that students are prepared to pass the licensure exams. The Department of Ed has traditionally allowed career-oriented programs and some community college programs to go above 150% of a state's minimum number of clock hours and still be eligible for federal financial aid. That changes in their new rule. They would now eliminate from federal financial aid any program that goes above 150% of the minimum hours. That means that schools will need to redesign, recertify their programs, which is a very time-consuming process, or students will now have to pay cash or private loans for the entire program rather than receiving the financial aid. It's estimated today that more than 3 million skilled trades jobs remain open. And at a time when our nation is struggling to fill these roles and employers can't find qualified workers, this is not the time for the department to make it harder for students to access programs that prepare them for the workforce. Again, this amendment would ensure that the department cannot fund the provision regarding program length in its final rule and would allow students to continue to use the federal financial aid they're eligible for to fund their studies. I have schools in my district that are providing great instruction, that are working well, that students take advantage of, and they have great careers as a result of the instruction. And as I mentioned, there are good reasons that these programs in some cases need to go beyond the minimum hours. They may help a student to qualify to do well on the exam. And again, there's no mistaking that our workforce is in a dire state. There are 9.6 million open jobs across the country right now, and only 5.4 million individuals looking for jobs. There are not enough people to fill all of these open positions. Employers in my area are keenly aware of this. It's a message that I hear over and over again in my district. So this is a huge disservice to students. This will mean less students will be able to use that pathway for a great career because they may not have the resources to pay for that. So I again urge my colleagues to support this amendment, and I yield back.